Korean. I'm just a average-looking white dude.
All right, cool. Let's talk about the tournament a little bit there. So, first of all, let's go through the tournament, and then let's give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about the Patreon, because you are the guy who has been setting it up. You are our Patreon pro. First of all, just go ahead and walk us through some of the series. Looking through the bracket here, you had a 2-0 against Moxie. You don't need to go like too in depth, but if you want to tell us a little bit about how that series played out.
Okay, sure. Let me pull up the bracket. Okay, so when I saw the bracket finalized, I was actually extremely happy with the way it panned out because I had faced Zelos before, and he was pretty. He cheesed me a couple times, and he actually beat me out of 2 tournaments, I think, in a row. And then I saw the Dirty Bag was on the exact opposite bracket, and he's beaten me a couple tournaments in a row. And for those of you who are kind of just new to Starbow, I played a lot during the beginning Monday Night Starbow phase, and then I kind of dropped off for a little bit. And then when I came back, everyone was just crushing me. And so the guys who were crushing me ended up on the other side of the bracket, and the guys who I felt more comfortable with were actually on my side. So that I felt more confident going into the whole series. So my first one was with Moxie Legend, and the reason that my TVZ is good is because I play with him quite a bit. I'd like to give him a shout out. He's definitely helped me by beating me a whole bunch. There was a couple weeks ago I was playing, you know, at least a few games a day, just because you know everyone is on the Starbow hype these days, and I was like, I gotta get in on this, and he was just trouncing me. He was trouncing me every single game. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea I was going 3 hatch. I was trying to take an expansion early. I was trying to go Hydras. And then as people noticed in my games versus Terran, I did the same build versus Maro as well. It's a heavy Mutalisk, very low drone count into a third, you know, into Defilers as quick as possible. And then you'll try to end the game there with the Lurkers if you can. So that's actually what ended up happening against Moxie Legend. He tried to move out a little too early, I think, in one of the games, and then the next game, I might have just kind of killed all of his SCVs with my Mutalisk, and he GD'd out. And then Maro, I played Maro one time before. I was looking through the Monday Night Starbow VODs, or not VODs, the Wikipedia page, and thanks Vec a lot for keeping the records on that. And I guess I actually played Maro once in a Monday Night Starbow like 5 months ago or something. And it was in the finals, and I played Protoss, and he played Terran. He beat me 3-2. But I was really confident with the way my TVZ was shaping out, or my ZBT, I should say. Mm-hmm. And the first game went according to plan. He actually did a really good job at holding my initial pressure, but he just lost too many SCVs, so he was in his base for too long. I took the map, and then I actually ended up infesting his third command center, and I started making SCVs, and then he laughed out loud and left the game. And then the second game, he really nullified my Mutalisk opener. By going low, like extremely low Marine counts, high turrets, and then getting Science Vessel out. And after he negated my early pressure, he did some really good pushing plays, and he was basically attacking my faraway third and fourth while simultaneously attacking my natural. And even though I had Defilers out, it still wasn't enough, and he squeezed me out. And then the third game of that same series versus Maro, I said to myself, I am going so many Mutalisks this game, I don't care if I never take a third, and he's just going to have to deal with them. And I think he may have dealt with them, but he was at such a disadvantage that I ended up closing it out. And then Franskar, I'm pretty confident against him. I feel like there's a lot of metagame between us, and that's kind of how the series played out. The third game, he played
Protoss, right? You stuck with Zerg, he played Protoss, because both of you main Zerg, but will play P against Z.
Yeah, I figured out, or I've thought to myself that when I play Protoss versus Zerg, as in I'm the Protoss, I have a much lower chance of winning. Well, it's the lowest of the 3, so I actually started playing Zerg versus Zerg lately. So I was hoping that he would pick Zerg, but he picked Protoss, and I forgot how the first 2 games went. I'd have to look at the replays again. But the third one, it was really metagame. He opened double gateway, and I opened 9 pool.
Oh wow!
It turned into a wonky game where he made stalkers, and he eventually got a an expansion down, but there was a timing window to where I could switch to lurkers because I have to make Mutalisk against Stalkers, and some people think that's weird because supposedly Stalkers counter Mutalisk, but there's certain points in the game to where if you go straight to lurkers or even Hydras, you'll kind of just get ran over, and the Mutalisks are good at least running away and then sometimes forcing engagement too. So on that third game, I caught him without some observers, and he was trying to tech just a little too quick, and then that's how I got the game on that. And then with Dirty Bag beat me 3-0 in the last time I met him in a finals, and that was a few weeks ago. And I've been playing a lot of Zerg vs Terran lately, especially against Moxie, and they play sort of similar styles. So I was actually extremely confident in my ability to win this matchup, and especially after the first game, I knew that the chances were pretty slim that I was going to lose just by the way he was kind of playing the early game. I felt like he was going to double barracks rush me that last game, and that's why I sent my drone out to scout so soon.
Yeah, we noticed playing that map especially, that really short rush distance there. The 2-port Wraith, though, it's a pretty fun surprise, but the Ensnare there really sealed the deal for you.
Yeah, the last time I did a build like that was probably in Brood War back in like 2003 or longer. Winging it. I felt at a really severe disadvantage after he killed a couple overlords and sniped some drones. So that's why I threw down the Viper's Nest immediately, going for the Ensnare. And I don't know if you mentioned it in the broadcast or not, but the Ensnare does, and this is for people who may be new to Starbow, Ensnare stops Cloak from working.
Right.
And one of the problems with just trying to go kill the person going Wraiths is that first of all, they go just as fast as Mutalisk, so they can always run away. And also they can maneuver around your Mutalisk and pick off the overlords. And if that ever happens, then you just lose your entire army. Right. So I figured I'd kind of just go with the Viper. And I guess if I
you also got the overlord speed right away too. That helped a lot as well.
Yeah, you gotta get that immediately, or else you're just gonna be boxed in your base the rest of the game. And it won't last very long because he'll just murk you really bad. But if I had to give one word to the way I played this tournament, I think it would be pretty aggressive. I didn't want to sit back and just let Dirty Bag play his game. He likes to make a lot of SCVs, and he likes to get an economy advantage and ride it out to the late game, and that's just something I wasn't comfortable with doing, and that's basically why I devised my Zerg vs Terran build based off of that. I play it the way I feel comfortable playing it, and I don't go outside of that.
Yeah, no, really, really well done, great play, and really very aggressive and dominating fashion there in the last series, and way to respond very well to the race in that third game. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, you basically defeated a who's who of Starbow players on the way to this championship. So congratulations. It's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, this is just there was actually a power rank on starbowmod.com the other day about who people thought the best player was, and there was a certain individual who ranked me on 8 or 9, and when I read it, I was a little bit PO'd, and I think that actually gave me more conviction to win this tournament, just because I wanted to prove a certain individual that his power rank was completely garbage.
All right, I have a question to you, RB.
Yeah.
If I'm a Terran player and I play you, and I see you're going this Muto strategy, what should I do? Like, what's the best thing I can do against it? Let's say game 1, I do my normal thing, and you just completely pound me into the ground.
Yeah.
What should I do going into game 2, knowing that you can possibly do this?
All right, so I guess I would have to reference my second game against Morrow, because he did a great job at countering my build, I believe. So basically what he did was, instead of going, and I didn't look at the replay, but I'm pretty sure, well, he scouted me, obviously, and when he scouted that I was doing the same thing, and when I was going in very early first gas, and a Terran player should always actually keep his first SCV alive, and you will be able to scout my lair timing, because I make it right at 100 gas, or else the build doesn't work out very well. So you check the layer time. If you see it going that quickly, you're going to actually want to maybe stay on either 1 or 2 barracks, possibly even 1, and just overcharge it, and then maybe even only make 1 orbital command and get that factory up as soon as possible into starport. And then you can go for vessels first, but I actually think a more immediate payoff would be making 1 or 2 Valkyries and overcharging those out.
Yeah, Vikings would be really good.
Yeah, Well, they're called Vikings in Starboard. Thank you. And so, if you get those out, I stop making Mutalisk, because the risk versus reward at that point is so low, and I'm basing everything off of me being able to attack you. And if you defend yourself correctly, I have to automatically make a transition into lurkers. And go ahead.
I feel like if you make that transition to workers, the Terran Empire probably didn't make a command center this time, because they're panic getting Vikings to deal with your mutas. So if you can get your Hydra Den worker den quickly, I feel like you could contain a Terran player for a very long time, prevent them from taking expansion. Well, you can take a third.
Yeah, I can possibly contain them, and the way the series went against Morrow and Dirty Bag as well. It puts Terran outside of the comfort zone, because usually when they make that command center, their follow-up is a pre-planned timing attack off of those 2 bases. And so I would say that the Terran player would need to get used to playing on the defensive end for maybe at least 4 or 5 minutes, and then being able to move out across the map. But it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more. It causes the Terran player to react more, rather than just having a pre-plan like, oh, I'm just going to move Marines across the map now, because he has to think about the Mutalisk counterattack. But then again, that's where the Vikings could come in. So that's kind of why I think Vikings would be a good alternative to maybe look at for some of these Terran players.
Yeah, especially against a Zerg player who's investing so much in the Mutalisk, getting out to those like really high Mutalisk counts where you're up to like 18 Mutalisks or something like that.
Yeah,
it's a lot to try to deal with just Marine Medic, and they can take down turrets so quickly, and the amount of splash damage they can do to the mineral lines really. I mean, even if they get into your mineral line for a few seconds, it's enough to do a lot of damage. We had a question from chat asking you how high you got on Icy Cup. People were curious in chat, apparently.
All right, so this is going to make me sound extremely old, but I didn't play on Icy Cup. I played on WG Tour, and that was a predecessor of Icy Cup. And to be frank with you, I don't even remember the rankings at this point. I know I was a little bit below like the big names at the time that were like in PG and Templars of Twilight, like Mondragon and stuff like that. So I was like a little bit underneath those guys. And then I played IC Cup a little bit, but that was already after I quit Brood War, and I made it to B-, I believe. I think that might be my highest.
Okay, cool.
And then StarCraft 2, I was Grandmaster, Wings of Liberty, and yeah.
Here we go. Cool. All right, let's see if we have any other questions here in chat. First Starbow Bonwa. All right, cool. I don't see anything else. I don't see anything other relevant questions. So if you want to talk a little bit about the whole Patreon page, I introduced it earlier. I also talked a little bit about where we'll be going with the weekly tournaments, but feel free to fill people in on a little bit. I know you've been doing a lot of work with it. Maybe explain why we're going to be setting up this Patreon and what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. So the tournaments are the lifeblood of Starbow. If we keep an active tournament scene, and this is how it's been in the past as well, then the ladder scene also stays more active because people want to practice more to play in the tournaments. So we're kind of just we're giving a chance for our casual fans to support us in keeping these tournament prize pools up, so that we can keep interest, especially from these pro gamers and semi-pro gamers that like to come around. And the longer they stick around, the further the game will develop metagame wise, and I think the more enjoyable games that our fans of Starbow can watch. So we basically have been just going off of money from the development team and community members and and casual fans alike. So but the problem is if we don't really know when the next donation's coming in, or if ever a donation is going to come in again. So this is why we made this, so that we can be transparent with the money that we do get, and we can show everyone that it's going to go right into the pockets of those players who play in our tournaments. And to piggyback off of that real quick, I donate all of my prize money back into Starbow as well. So I'm not just going to come in and try to take the money off Patreon.
Gonna run off with the dirty esports money.
Yeah, but I really I made this because I feel like we have a really great community that loves watching Starbow, and I felt like if we gave you guys a platform that you would rise to the occasion and help us run these weekly tournaments. And already we already have 7 patrons from just launching it less than 12 hours ago. So that allows us to plan better for the future, and it allows us to keep having these wonderful tournaments. And I'm not trying to just pat myself on the back, but there's some great players in the tournament today, and I really hope that they keep showing up. And basically that's why we made the Patreon. Yeah,
absolutely. If you've enjoyed the Monday Night Starbows, the Euro Bows, even going back to the Ladder Cups last year, if Starbow is something that you get a lot of enjoyment out of, consider just even being like a $5 patron. $5 a month, it's a cheeseburger. Sign up. The great thing is, that's a $5. Just make a little small commitment. But if a lot of people make a small commitment like that, you don't have to throw down a big chunk of change. We've had players, viewers, players, etc., throw in pretty big donations. For example, a Peon you. Peon, like need some work. Warcraft Peon. He recently made a very large contribution, which is really going to help us continue to provide these tournaments for a while, which we can hopefully, if we get a good Patreon base, we can use that money for a show match or something like that. He's donated a lot. You'll see all the names below. The names below us have all been people who have donated in the past. Great thing is, where you see those names below, we'll make sure that all of our Patreon patrons get listed. You get a little bit of recognition on stream. So just consider it. If it's something that you get a lot of enjoyment out of, you like the 4 or 5 hours, maybe more, bit of entertainment value out of the tournaments, consider donating. So become a patron. It's just I'm going to be a patron. I got to sign up. I got to do it tonight.
I'm begging you, please.
Yeah, because and the bigger the prize pools, the bigger the players we're going to have playing in them. If you want to continue to see players like Arthur and Maro and Mamori or Emotion, Korean Samsung Galaxy player, play in the tournament tonight. How cool is that? The bigger the prize pools, the more likely those guys are going to continue to show up. Cool.
Just on a personal note, Vec, I would like to thank you so much for running the Monday Night Starbows. I know that you said the future is a little bit uncertain, but I just wanted to say that you've done a wonderful, wonderful job with the way you've ran it. The production value is always top notch, and your casting skills have gotten they're great. I mean, you started off awesome, and it's gotten even better as it's gone. So,
thanks, man.
Thanks a lot.
And I'd like to thank you as well for having me show up, because I started probably in the spring. I just kind of started tuning to Starbow again, and then I showed up one day, had a team battle. I talked, and you let me come back. Talk for some reason every few hours every month.
And of course, thank you guys too. Thanks to everybody who's made this possible. Thanks to the viewers. Thanks to the players. It's been a lot of fun. I've been doing it because I enjoy it. It's a decent amount of work, and I'm gonna continue to stay involved. I plan on continuing to be part of the organizational and planning crew of our tournament scene. Just won't necessarily be able to dedicate that casting time, but I'll still be around. You can always check me out on my channel. I'll continue to be streaming Starbow here and there, and you might see me hop into a cast on occasion, just depending on if I have the time for it. So it's been a blast. Monday Night Starbow's been a lot of fun. 33 editions, been going for over 8 months strong, since early October, I think. It's been really rewarding for me. It's been great getting involved in the community, meeting a lot of great people. I've got all these internet friends now. I know that sounds weird, internet friends, but hey, it's pretty cool. I've enjoyed it. I've met a bunch of people from across the world, people from Australia and Korea and Europe, and it's been a lot of fun. So great community to get involved with. If you're just a casual viewer, you know, hop on, get on the forums, start talking to people. It's an absolute blast. Get really involved in something like this. So yeah, play Starbow, watch the tournaments. I know I'll be watching. I'll be hanging out with chat with you guys.
Thanks for everyone who tuned in. Thanks for everyone who's donated so far, and thanks for playing and watching the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So stay tuned. There will be more tournaments in the future. Don't know exactly when, but you'll know when we know. All right,
thanks for supporting us and play games. Have fun.
Yep, starbowmod.com. Hit it up, guys. See ya.